Okay, I'm not really sure on how I'm pronouncing the name, if it's Francois or Francis or exactly how it should be pronounced, but so I apologize for butchering the name. uh, it's not spelled the way that I'm used to seeing Francis spelled. I looked it up and I'm still not really sure what the proper pronunciation is. But at any rate, you asked a question in such a way that I really didn't feel it fit the kind of spread that I was wanting to do. And please, anyone watching this, if I, put forth a certain kind of spread, try to form a question in the context of that spread. But, when I can, I will accommodate somebody who does ask for something different. And so what I did for this is I basically decided that we should try a 12 card spread, a card for each month, and then followed up with 3 cards for the main theme. And as I go through here, it looks like your first 3 months of 2012 are going to be somewhat stifling. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to mention this. Even before I even picked up a deck or decided what deck to use, when I read the question, I just felt book. And it was just, even before I even knew exactly how I was going to do the spread, I read the question, and so I have to wonder if you're writing a book, or if there's somehow work on a book involved, or if that's when you're trying to get something published, or something like that, or something that has to do with books. And I don't want to say, it could have, because I'm still adjusting to this, it could not necessarily even be that you're writing a book, although that's kind of what I feel like. It could just have some other venture involving a publication. But as I look at the first 3 months of 2012, it looks like there's just going to be frustration with the project, in that the materials that you need are going to be slow in coming for it. The project is just going to have a lot of little things that interfere with it progressing, and it's not until, let's see, January, April of 2012 that it's going to solidify into something that is going to be a good deal, something that you can definitely have a celebration over. So it looks like it's going to be the April, something's going to turn around and it'll all come together. But then in May and June, and once again, I don't know what your sexual orientation is, so I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. But I see a relationship with a man that is somehow difficult. Someone who's very loving, but at the same time, there's some sort of tenseness there, and that takes that goes on for a couple months until that's rectified. But then by July, it looks like things are totally going good for you again. And in August is sort of hard for me to read. I'm still working that part out. I'm not quite certain that if it's what I'm getting as I focus on it is some things start to turn around, but you have this dogged attitude that the things are going to be good, and you're going to make them good, and it's not going to be a it's not necessarily going to be a bad month, but the idea that it's not necessarily a good month, your attitude is going to carry you through it and make it either better than it is or just good. And I'm also seeing elements of that elsewhere in the read. It's as if you've got a really strong constitution when it comes to things not going your way. You kind of mentally see that they go your way. And that's important too, because the last 4 months, September, October, November, and December. Once again, there's this thing that turns around. I don't know if it's personal or health or what. It could be either. Um, but it challenges you, and you have it'll be difficult for you to want to, I see elements of a fresh start in the cards. A lot of the cards that talk about, fresh start and something new coming up uh, is, is sort of the theme, and they're reversed. So it means you're being limited somehow or blocked from starting something over. And there could even be a financial element to it as well. But I'm seeing that, like I say, it's August is going to be the month that is going to be, the start of it, and then it's going to be you kicking it back into gear and trying to get it started up. And even by December, it could even be to the level of affecting you psychically, or affecting your psychic ability, or your ability to have any type of well, I'm not sure how it's going to affect it, but it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be like things are just going to be a little more difficult, at least for December on the psychic thing. But then again, that's when December 21st is. So that's going to be a psychic challenge to us all. So once again, I got another reverse card. And this is a thing I saw a lot of reversed cards come up in this read, and I've had that happen before. I've just recently started to reverse my cards, but what I do is I pick the deck up and I look through the rest of the cards, and they seem to be a little more homogenized than what came up in the read. So I'm going to keep this as valid. If I'd come up and the entire deck was all the same direction, I would have probably thrown it out. But the last three cards, once again, it's this theme that you carry through. The last three cards are about the overall theme, and it looks like the amount of love and care and attention that might get stifled for you in the year, you make up for, because you have a very good ability to love yourself. And that's really a wonderful characteristic of a man. I think that as men, I think we have a harder challenge learning how to love ourselves, whereas I think with women it comes a little more naturally because of the differences in the sexes. And it looks like this is something you've mastered. And when I look at the overall theme of the year, I see success early on. I see certain troubles going throughout the year, as I've explained. But I see the fact that the main thing is that you persevere by your internal energy and your sheer attitude alone. So that's the bizarre thing about this read is, I've mentioned some months, and I'll try to do a quick recap. Like I say, it's a project that's stifled. By April, it kicks off and is something worthy of celebration. May and June, the relationship issue, possibly an older male. Then again, July is great. August, iffy, and then you go through the trials of the last 4 months of the year. But you have the internal power that you just plow right through. So that's my 2012 read for you. By all means, especially the book thing, because I felt that stronger than anything else. And once again, it's hard to know because that's 2 years away. But I would very much like any feedback if you have any plans for that year, how this read might coincide with them, if I happen to hit on anything. Okay. So thank you very much, and good luck to you, and and I particularly want to know if there's a book involved. Thank you.